Good morning, everyone. Today I want to take you on a journey above the landscapes of California, a state known for its stunning coastline, sprawling forests, and vibrant communities. But as we soar above, the picture is drastically different, one painted with smoke, ash, and flames. When you take an aerial view of wildfires blazing across California, it's a sight that stops you in your tracks. From high above, the flames stretch across miles of land, consuming forests, neighborhoods, and everything in their path. Thick plumes of smoke rise into the sky, creating an eerie haze that blocks out the sun. It's devastating, sobering, and impossible to ignore. But amidst this overwhelming image of destruction, there are deeper truths that emerge. Lessons about resilience, unity, and the capacity for renewal. The aerial view of wildfires blazing across California is both breathtaking and heartbreaking. From the skies, the scale of destruction becomes hauntingly clear. Entire swaths of land, once lush and green, now resemble a fiery inferno. Thick plumes of smoke rise into the atmosphere, creating an eerie haze that obscures the sun and stretches far beyond the flames, impacting air quality for millions. These wildfires are more than just a natural disaster. They are a crisis with far-reaching consequences. They destroy homes, displace families, and take lives. They ravage ecosystems, driving countless species from their habitats, and they exacerbate the climate challenges we face, releasing enormous amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. When we look at the devastation caused by wildfires, it's easy to focus on the destruction. The flames tear through forests, neighborhoods are reduced to rubble, and the land is scorched. The sight from above with the vast stretch of fire and smoke is overwhelming. But even in the midst of such tragedy, there's something powerful to remember. The fire, though fierce, is not the final word. It doesn't get the last say. So what happens after the fire is what matters most. The fire may burn, but it can't destroy the resilience that lies within the land and within us. When we experience the fires of life, whether it's the loss of a loved one, a financial setback, or the pain of disappointment, it can feel like everything is falling apart. The flames of struggle can seem so fierce and the heat so unbearable that it's hard to see past it. You might feel overwhelmed, wondering how you'll ever make it through, but let me tell you this, just like the land after a fire, there is life waiting to emerge from your struggles. You have an inner strength that can't be destroyed by the challenges you face. There is resilience inside of you that cannot be burned away. Look at the way nature responds after the fire. Though the trees and vegetation may be scorched, what many people don't realize is that the fire creates an opportunity for new life. The intense heat of the flames helps to release seeds that have been dormant for years, waiting for the right moment to sprout. The fire clears the land of what's old, and new growth takes its place. It may seem impossible in the midst of the destruction, but nature has a way of bouncing back. The fire is not the end, it's the beginning of something new. In the same way, the challenges we face in life can serve as opportunities for new growth. Sometimes it feels like everything you've worked for is burned away, like your hopes, dreams, or plans are gone. But what you don't always see in the moment is that the fire is clearing the way for something better. It's not a sign of defeat, it's preparation for a brighter future. You may not understand it right now, but the struggles you're going through are preparing you for new opportunities. The land may seem barren, but just like the forest, you have the ability to grow back stronger, more vibrant, and more resilient than before. If you're having problems physically, you've got to go back to your doctor. What's incredible is that the very thing that seems to destroy us, whether it's the fire in nature or the hardships we face, can lead to growth and transformation. That's the beauty of resilience. It's not about avoiding the fires, but about what we do when they come. Will we let them define us, or will we rise from the ashes? The fire may be fierce, but it can't take away what is inside of you. The strength you have to rise above, to keep moving forward, to believe that there is something better ahead, those things are eternal. Now, I know that some of you are listening and saying, this sounds cool, but the fact of the matter is, our world is a pre-existing condition that we inhabit. Now, I know that some of you, just as nature has a way of recovering, so do you. No matter how difficult life may seem, know that you have the ability to rebuild, to grow, and to flourish once again. You may have to wait. You may have to work through the pain, but the promise of renewal is real. The fire may seem all-consuming, but it is only for a season. You will come out on the other side, stronger, wiser, and more equipped for what's next. The fire teaches us to embrace the process of recovery. It's not always an easy road, and there are moments when we may doubt our ability to move forward. But if you look at nature, you see that the process is gradual. It takes time, patience, and care. There will be days when it feels like you're not making any progress. But just like the forest that regrows, step by step, you are moving forward. You're healing, growing, and preparing for the new opportunities that lie ahead. The fire doesn't erase your progress, it refines you. It's easy to get discouraged when things are tough. It's natural to wonder if you'll ever get back to where you were, or if you'll ever see things improve. But here's what you need to remember. Every season has a purpose. Every fire, no matter how fierce, serves a purpose. It's clearing the way for what's next. You might not see it now, but there is something better coming. The land, just like you, has the ability to recover, to renew, and to grow again. The fire doesn't have the final word. It's what happens after the fire that counts. So take heart today. Whatever you're facing, know that it's not the end. Like the land that recovers after a fire, you will come through this stronger and more resilient. Your roots, your strength, your hope, they can't be burned away. What you have inside of you is more powerful than anything life can throw at you. And just like nature, you will bloom again. The fire has not defeated you. It has prepared you for something greater. Remember, resilience isn't about avoiding the fire. It's about rising up in the face of it. It's about understanding that even in the midst of destruction, there is new growth waiting to emerge. Keep believing, keep trusting, and know that the best is yet to come. The fire may be intense, but it's only temporary. You are more powerful than the flames, and your future is brighter than the smoke. What lies ahead is not just survival, it's thriving, and you are destined to rise. When we witness the devastation of a wildfire, the sight is both humbling and heartbreaking. From above, you see an ocean of flames racing through vast landscapes, destroying everything in their path. Entire forests, neighborhoods, and natural habitats are engulfed. And it's hard not to feel that the fire has won. But as overwhelming as it may seem, it's important to remember that fire is not just about destruction. It's also about renewal. Nature has a remarkable way of bouncing back, and so do we. When life's challenges strike, it may feel like everything is being consumed by the flames. But what we often fail to see is that this moment of devastation can lead to something new, something better, something that wasn't possible without going through the fire. Just like the forest, when we face difficult times, we can often feel like everything is falling apart. The losses, the setbacks, the pain. It feels like it's all too much to bear. But in the midst of our own fires, there's something powerful to remember. The fire doesn't destroy us. It refines us. Just as the fire clears away the old growth in the forest, in our lives, it clears away what no longer serves us. It also makes us a bit more peaceful, and it removes the unnecessary weight, the things that are holding us back from our true potential. Sometimes we need to go through the fire in order to come out on the other side with a clearer sense of who we are and what we are meant to do. The fire may burn, but it won't break you. The flames may seem overwhelming, but deep inside, you are stronger than you know. There is a power within you that can rise from the ashes, rebuild and thrive again. We've all experienced moments in our lives when it feels like we're facing an impossible challenge. Whether it's the loss of a loved one, the failure of a dream, or the overwhelming weight of disappointment. The fire of life can be intense, and it can feel as though we'll never get through it. But if we look closely, we see that it's not the fire itself that defines us. It's how we respond to it. When the flames of struggle are burning, it's easy to feel like we've lost everything, but that's when our resilience comes into play. It's in those moments of trial that we find out what we're truly made of. What lies beneath the surface is stronger than we realize. The power to heal, the power to rebuild, and the power to overcome is already inside of us, waiting to rise up and carry us through. Think about the forest after the fire. At first glance, it may look barren with nothing left but charred earth and blackened trees. But in time, life begins to return. Seeds that were once dormant in the soil begin to sprout. The soil, once scorched, begins rich with nutrients, and new growth emerges from the ashes. The fire has cleared away the old, made room for new life, and set the stage for a new beginning. The process takes time, but what seems like an ending is often the beginning of something even more beautiful. In the same way, when we go through challenging seasons, we may not see it at first, but eventually new opportunities begin to emerge. The fire has a way of preparing us for something greater. When the old is burned away, there's space for new growth, new dreams, and new possibilities. It's easy to get discouraged when we're in the midst of a trial, when we're surrounded by the smoke and the heat of life's struggles. It can feel like we're being consumed by the flames. But just as the forest has the ability to regenerate, so do we. Even though the fire may seem to last forever, there is always an end. The smoke will clear, the sun will shine again, and life will begin to bloom. You might not be able to see it right now, but you're in the process of renewal. Your setbacks, your heartaches, your challenges, they are not the end. They are simply part of your journey, preparing you for the growth that is yet to come. Keep pressing forward even when it feels like the fire is too much. Keep believing that the best is yet to come. Because just like the land that recovers after a wildfire, you too have the strength to heal and rise again. But this process of recovery isn't instant. It's gradual. It takes time, patience, and care. And during that time, we may not see immediate results. But just like the forest that slowly regenerates after a fire, we too are healing, growing, and becoming stronger. It's easy to feel discouraged when progress seems slow, but remember that growth takes time. You might not see it today, but every step you take, every effort you make is bringing you closer to a new season of growth. Don't give up in the middle of the fire. Keep moving forward, knowing that the fire is not the end. It's only a part of the process. Your future is brighter than the smoke. What lies ahead is not just survival, it's thriving. Your structure is more than just better than yesterday. You're building a greater future. You're making a greater impact. And as you go through the recovery process, don't forget to embrace the support of those around you. Just as the firefighters work together to battle the flames, we too need each other to navigate life's challenges. When you're going through a fire, don't be afraid to lean on others. The support, love, and encouragement of your community can be the water that helps you get through. You don't have to face the fire alone. Lean on your family, friends, or anyone who can help you walk through the storm. Together, we are stronger than we are alone. So today, as you reflect on the wildfires that burn through California and the strength of the land that recovers, remember that you too have the ability to rise from the ashes. The fire will not defeat you. It may feel intense now, but it is not the end. What comes after the fire, the new growth, the healing, the transformation is what matters most. Trust in your resilience. Trust in your ability to recover. And keep believing that something beautiful is waiting for you on the other side of the fire. When we take a moment to pause and consider the incredible power of wildfires, we realize that they don't just wreak havoc. They reveal the deep resilience of the land, of nature, and ultimately of the human spirit. As devastating as wildfires can be, they also teach us invaluable lessons about life and renewal. From an aerial view, we see the vast stretches of flames consuming everything in their path. But what is often overlooked is that this destruction is only temporary. The fire clears the land, but it also makes way for new growth, new life, and the opportunity for something better. In the same way, when we face our own challenges, it can feel as though everything is being burned away, but these difficult times are preparing us for what is yet to come. The flames that roar across the landscape may seem unstoppable, but just like nature, we all have a way of coming back stronger after a storm. When we go through trials, it often feels as if we are being consumed, like there's nothing left but smoke and ashes. It's easy to believe that this fire is the end, but let's remember, the fire may burn, but it does not break us. Think about the forest that is scorched by the flames. In the aftermath, it may appear barren, charred, and lifeless. But over time, nature begins to heal. The charred earth becomes fertile ground for new growth. Life returns. It may take time, but what seems like an ending is actually the beginning of something even greater. Just like the land that rises from the ashes, we too have the ability to recover and emerge stronger, more resilient, and ready for new opportunities. Our challenges, the fires we go through in life, are part of the process that shapes us into who we are meant to be. Think about it for a moment. When everything is going well, it's easy to stay in our comfort zones. But it's the trials, the storms, and yes, the fires that refine us. They challenge us to dig deeper, to tap into the strength and determination we didn't know we had. Just like the fire clears the old growth to make space for new life, our struggles help us clear away the things that are holding us back, the things that no longer serve us. And when the fire subsides, when the smoke clears, we find ourselves with a new sense of clarity, a new strength, and a deeper understanding of what truly matters. Is that right? We can see this process of renewal in nature. After a wildfire, the soil becomes rich with nutrients that were previously locked away. The ash from the fire fertilizes the land, helping new plants to grow and thrive. Sometimes seeds that have been dormant for years are awakened by the heat, ready to sprout and grow in the fertile soil. This is a powerful lesson for us. Just because something is destroyed doesn't mean that it's gone forever. The fire serves a purpose. It clears away the old to make room for the new. In our lives, when we face setbacks or loss, we may not understand it in the moment, but these experiences are often preparing us for something bigger, something better, and something more beautiful than we ever imagined. In our own lives, there are times when we feel like everything is being taken away. We experience heartbreak, disappointment, and loss, and it can feel like there's no way out of the flames. But just as nature has a way of bouncing back, so do we. It may feel impossible in the moment, but with time, healing, and perseverance, we come out on the other side stronger than before. Sometimes it's the very fire of our lives that strengthens us, that helps us grow into the person we were always meant to be. The fire is not the end. It's a step toward transformation. Remember the phrase, "Nah, it's not true, it's dogmatic. I know it's not true, it's disbelieving." The second lesson we learn from wildfires is the power of community and the strength of unity. When a wildfire breaks out, it's not just one person or one group of people working to contain the flames. It takes the collective effort of thousands, firefighters, emergency responders, volunteers, and entire communities. Everyone comes together, doing their part to stop the spread of the fire and to rebuild in its aftermath. And when you branched out, you pay attention to what will and what will not happen. And when you remove the individual from the community, it removes all peril. This spirit of unity is something that we can all learn from. In our own lives, when we face difficult times, we don't have to go through them alone. The fire might be fierce, but together we can face anything. The support of a community, whether it's family, friends, or even strangers, can be the difference between feeling overwhelmed and feeling empowered. When we stand together, we are stronger. Just as communities come together to fight the fire and rebuild after the devastation, we too can lean on each other during life's fires. In times of struggle, it's easy to isolate ourselves, to feel like we're the only ones going through tough times. But it's in those very moments that we need the support of others. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to lean on the shoulders of those around you. Don't be afraid to lean on the shoulders of those around you. When we join forces, we can withstand even the most intense trials. Just as firefighters work together to battle the flames, we can work together to help each other heal and rebuild. When we look at the aftermath of a wildfire, we are reminded of the power of renewal and restoration. Though the land may appear barren and destroyed, over time it begins to heal. Green shoots sprout from the ashes, and the forest slowly recovers. The land is never the same after a fire, but it's always more vibrant, more alive, and more capable of sustaining new life. This is a beautiful picture of restoration. Now, in our own lives, we may experience periods of devastation and loss, but know this: restoration is always possible. No matter how difficult life gets, no matter how many times we fall, we can rise again. The ashes of our past become the fertile ground for a brighter future. We are never too far gone to begin again, to start fresh, and to experience new growth. As we reflect on the aerial view of wildfires blazing across California, let us remember that even in the darkest moments, there is hope. The fire does not define us. It's what comes after the fire, the healing, the growth, and the new opportunities that truly matters. Just as nature renews itself after the fire, so can we. We have the strength to rise, to rebuild, and to thrive once again. The fire may burn, but it will never destroy the spirit that lies within us. The best is yet to come. And you know, the truth is that success, when we think about the destructive power of wildfires, it's easy to be overwhelmed by the sight of it all. The flames stretch across miles, destroying everything in their path, leaving behind charred earth and blackened trees. It's a reminder of the volatility of nature. But more than that, it's a stark reflection of life itself. Just as a wildfire can seem all-consuming, so can the challenges we face in our life. The trials, the heartbreaks, and the setbacks we encounter may feel like they are burning everything to the ground. But what we must remember is that the fire doesn't have the final say. It may be fierce, but it's not the end. It's a part of the process, a process that can lead to renewal, growth, and transformation. When a wildfire spreads across the land, it might appear as though nothing will ever grow again. The trees, the plants, the wildlife, everything seems lost. But if you look closely, you'll notice something remarkable. Over time, nature begins to heal. The soil becomes fertile and new life begins to sprout. The fire, while destructive, has cleared away the old, making room for new growth. The area has prospered and grown to be bigger and more valuable than it would otherwise. The world was different, though, before the fire. While destructive has cleared away the old, making room for new growth. Seeds that had been dormant for years are activated by the heat, and what once seemed like an end is actually a new beginning. This is the power of renewal. Just like nature, when we go through the fires of life, we may feel as though we're being torn apart, but we must trust that it's part of a bigger plan. The fire doesn't destroy our purpose, it refines us. It clears away what is holding us back and prepares us for the new growth that's on the way. In our own lives, we have all experienced the flames of struggle. We face seasons of loss, disappointment, or fear. And when we're in the middle of it, it's easy to feel like there's no way out. But I want to encourage you today. The fire you are going through is not meant to defeat you. It's meant to prepare you. It's easy to look at the flames and think that it's all over. But just as the forest recovers, so will you. The fire is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of something greater. When life's difficulties arise, don't be afraid to stand firm and trust that you are in the process of renewal. What's being burned away is only making space for what is coming next. You have the ability to rise from the ashes stronger, wiser, and more capable than you were before. You have the ability to rise from the ashes stronger, wiser, and more capable than you were before. One of the most beautiful things about wildfires is that they remind us of the power of perspective. From the ground, we see the devastation, the smoke, and the damage. But from above, from an aerial view, we get a broader perspective. We see that even in the midst of the fire, there are areas untouched by the flames, parts of the landscape that are still standing strong. And beyond that, we see that the fire has boundaries. It doesn't last forever. This is a powerful reminder that no matter what you're facing, it's not permanent. The fire may burn intensely for a time, but it will eventually subside. Your challenges, no matter how overwhelming they may seem right now, are not the end of your journey. They are just one part of your story. When we gain a broader perspective, we can see beyond the immediate trial to the greater picture. We can see that even in the midst of difficulty, there is hope. Beyond the smoke, beyond the flames, there is a future waiting for you, brighter, stronger, and more beautiful than you ever imagined. Come present with purpose. Today is a day like no other. Come present with purpose. Today is a day like no other. As we reflect on the devastation caused by wildfires, it's important to recognize the power of unity and the role of community in overcoming challenges. During a wildfire, it's not just one person or one team that fights the flames. It takes the collective effort of countless individuals, firefighters, volunteers, families, and entire communities. Everyone comes together to face the challenge, to rebuild and to restore what has been lost. This is an incredible picture of what it means to support one another in times of struggle. Just as nature has a way of renewing itself after the fire, we too have the ability to come together and help each other through the fire. When you're going through a trial, you don't have to face it alone. There is strength in numbers, and together we can weather any storm. Lean on the people around you. Reach out for support when you need it. You are never alone in your struggles. And together we can rebuild and grow stronger. One of the most inspiring things we can learn from wildfires is the power of perseverance. Nature doesn't give up after the fire. It keeps pushing forward, regenerating and growing. This is the same spirit we must embody in our own lives. When we face setbacks, when life feels like it's going up in flames, we must persevere. The fire may feel all-encompassing, but it's only for a season. Just as the land eventually recovers, so will you. The process of healing, of rebuilding, takes time, but it's worth it. You may feel weary, you may feel broken, but keep going. Keep believing that the best is yet to come. Each step you take in the recovery process is a step toward a new season of growth. A season where you'll emerge stronger, more resilient, and more prepared for the future that lies ahead. After the fire, we find that nature has not only survived, but it has flourished. The land becomes richer, more vibrant, and full of life. What seemed like an end was only the beginning of something greater. The fire that once seemed to consume everything has created the fertile ground for new growth. The same is true in our lives. After every trial, there is potential for new beginnings. No matter how painful or difficult the season may seem, know that it is preparing you for something better. The ashes of today are the foundation for tomorrow's success. Trust in the process. Believe that the fire you're going through is not destroying you, it's preparing you for a greater future. As we reflect on the aerial view of the wildfires blazing across California, let us be reminded of the resilience of nature and the incredible strength that lies within us. The fire may burn, but it does not have the power to take away our spirit. No matter how intense the flames may be, we have the ability to rise from the ashes, to rebuild, and to flourish once again. The fire is not the end. It's the beginning of something beautiful, something stronger, and something more resilient than we could have imagined. Keep pressing forward. Keep trusting the process, and know that the best is yet to come. The fire will not defeat you. It will refine you, and you will emerge from it stronger than ever before. When we look at the immense power of wildfires, it's easy to become disheartened by the sight of them. Flames rage across the land, consuming everything in their path, leaving behind nothing but destruction and devastation. The smoke fills the air, and for a moment it feels like there's no escape. It's hard to see beyond the blaze when we're in the middle of it. But just as the fire rages across the landscape, we must remind ourselves that it is not the end. But just as nature has its way of healing and renewing itself after a fire, so do we. When life feels like it's engulfed in flames, it's important to remember that fire doesn't destroy us. It refines us, clears away what no longer serves us, and makes space for something greater. We all face moments in our lives where it feels like everything is being taken away. A dream slips through our fingers, a relationship ends, or we experience a loss so deep that it feels as though we've been consumed by it. But I want to encourage you today to keep going. Though the fire may burn, it doesn't mean that it's over. Just as the forest may look barren and desolate after a wildfire, we too may feel like there's nothing left in the aftermath of our struggles. But here's the truth. The fire doesn't destroy you. It clears away the old, the things that were no longer serving you, and it creates fertile ground for something new to grow. When you go through a difficult season, trust that something better is on the horizon. What you're going through is preparing you for the next chapter, the next phase of your journey. After a wildfire, nature has a remarkable ability to regenerate. It might seem impossible at first, but soon the scorched earth begins to show signs of life. Seeds that were once dormant deep in the soil start to sprout, and before long, new trees and plants begin to grow. The fire, though devastating, actually enriches the soil, making it more fertile for future growth. This is a beautiful picture of how, after a trial, we are able to come back even stronger. When you go through difficult seasons, you may not see the fruit of it immediately. But know this, in the right time, you will see new life begin to grow in your life. The struggle that you went through is not wasted. It's preparing you for greater things. The fire makes way for the seeds of success, joy, and peace to take root in your life. And this is on the basis in your passion and your desire to keep it from seeding, corrupt, or degrade. Just as a forest needs fire to regenerate, we too need challenges to grow. It's easy to feel comfortable when things are going well, but when we are faced with adversity, that's when we begin to see our true strength. Think about the trees in the forest. The strongest trees are often the ones that have endured the most harsh conditions: wind, drought, and yes, fire. These trees are the ones with the deepest roots, the ones that have learned to stand tall despite the storms they have faced. In the same way, the challenges you face today are strengthening you for tomorrow. They are building your character, deepening your faith, and helping you grow in ways that comfort could never do. The fire may be fierce, but it's shaping you into the person you are destined to be. We also must remember that no fire burns forever. The flames that rage across the land may seem unrelenting at first, but eventually they subside. The smoke clears, the air becomes fresh again, and nature begins to heal. The same is true in our lives. When we go through difficult seasons, it can feel as though the struggle will never end. The pain may feel unbearable, and we wonder if we'll ever see the light at the end of the tunnel. But know this, the fire's not eternal. It is temporary. This too shall pass. Though the flames may seem endless, they are only a season in your life. You are not meant to stay in the fire. You are meant to rise from it, stronger and better than before. The fire that consumes the land may feel overwhelming, but it is not in vain. It is part of the process. Just like the forest, we all need time to heal and recover after a trial. And that recovery, while slow at first, brings about something beautiful. Just as after a wildfire, the landscape becomes richer, more vibrant, and full of new life, you too will emerge from your struggles more vibrant and full of purpose than ever before. Sometimes it's through the hardest times that we find our true calling. The struggle that you are going through may be the very thing that prepares you for the success you are about to experience. You may not see it yet, but trust that the fire is working for you, not against you. It's making you stronger, more resilient, and ready for the new season that's coming your way. As we reflect on the aerial view of the wildfires raging across California, let us remember the lessons we can learn from nature. Yes, the fire is destructive and it can be painful, but it also brings about renewal and growth. It clears the way for new opportunities, new beginnings, and new strength. You may be in the fire right now, but that fire is not your end. It is only preparing you for what's next. So keep your faith strong, your heart hopeful, and know that after the fire, there is always a time of renewal and restoration. You are being refined, you are being strengthened, and you are being prepared for something greater. Trust in the process, knowing that this fire is working for your good. The best is yet to come, and the flames will not define you. They will only fuel the next chapter of your story. When we look at the wildfires that rage across California, we can't help but feel a sense of awe at the power they hold. The flames are fierce, unstoppable, and they seem to consume everything in their path. From the ground, the devastation is overwhelming. But if we were to take a step back and look from above, we'd see that the fire is not all-consuming. It has boundaries. And once it's passed, the land begins to heal. This is a powerful lesson for us. No matter how overwhelming the challenges in our lives may feel, we must remember that the trials we face are not permanent. They are temporary, and they are preparing us for something greater. Just like the wildfire burns through the land, clearing away what is no longer needed, our struggles help to refine us and make way for the growth that is waiting to emerge. Faith is what brings disorder to order and makes way for the growth that is waiting to emerge. It's easy to look at the fire and think that it is the end. But the truth is, the fire is a part of the process of renewal. After the flames have subsided, nature begins to regenerate. The land, once scorched and barren, begins to show signs of life again. New seeds sprout from the ashes, and the soil, once hardened and dry, becomes rich with nutrients. What once seemed like a disaster has now become the fertile ground for new growth. This is a beautiful reminder that after every trial, there is the potential for something new and beautiful to emerge. In our own lives, we often face setbacks that feel like they are burning everything we hold dear. But know this, the fire is not destroying you. It is making room for something better, something greater than you ever imagined. Trust the process and know that you are being prepared for a new season of growth and opportunity. When we go through difficult times, it's easy to feel like we've been consumed by the flames. We feel the weight of the struggle, and we wonder how we'll ever come out on the other side. But just as the land doesn't remain barren after the fire, we too will emerge stronger and more resilient. We might not see the results of our struggle right away, but in time, we will begin to see the new life that is taking root in our hearts. The trials we go through are not wasted. They are shaping us, molding us, and helping us grow in ways that comfort never could. Just as the trees that survive the fire have deeper roots, so too will we find our strength in the midst of adversity. The fire refines us, it strengthens us, and it prepares us for the new season of life that is coming. Another important lesson we learn from wildfires is that even in the midst of destruction, there is always hope. When the flames are raging, it can be hard to see beyond the smoke and the ashes. But if we take a step back and look at the bigger picture, we realize that even in the darkest moments, there is always a glimmer of light. The fire, while it may consume everything in its path, is not all-powerful. It has its limits, and once it's passed, there is an opportunity for new beginnings. This is a reminder that no matter how difficult the situation may seem, it will not last forever. Just as the fire eventually burns itself out, so too will the challenges in your life. The storm will pass, the smoke will clear, and you will emerge on the other side stronger and more capable than before. So when you find yourself in the midst of a trial, remember that this too shall pass. There is hope on the other side, and brighter days are ahead. The truth is, the Lord will do more. The strength of community is another vital lesson we can learn from wildfires. During a wildfire, it's not just one person or one team working to put out the flames. It takes a collective effort of firefighters, volunteers, families, and entire communities coming together to fight the fire and rebuild afterward. In the same way, when we face challenges in our own lives, it's important to remember that we don't have to face them alone. There is strength in numbers. We need the support of our families, our friends, and our communities to help us through the toughest times. Sometimes we try to go through our struggles in isolation, thinking that we have to carry the weight ourselves. But the truth is, we are stronger when we lean on each other. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Don't be afraid to open up and share your burden with others. And nobody tells you you better wear yourself out when you need it. Don't be afraid to open up and share your burden with others. The fire may be fierce, but with the support of those around us, we can weather any storm. As we witness the devastation caused by wildfires, we are also reminded of the incredible power of perseverance. Wildfires can burn for days, even weeks, and yet nature does not give up. The land may appear barren, but it doesn't stop growing. After the fire, nature finds a way to regenerate and rebuild. The same is true in our own lives. When we go through trials, it's easy to feel like giving up. The struggle can be overwhelming, and we may feel like we can't keep going. But just like nature, we too have the ability to persevere. The fire may burn fiercely, but it will not consume us. We are stronger than we realize. The fire is not the end. It is a part of the process that leads to new growth, new opportunities, and a brighter future. When you feel like giving up, remember that the best is yet to come. You have the strength to endure, to overcome, and to come out on the other side stronger than before. Finally, after the fire, we see the beauty of renewal. Nature, after being scorched by the flames, begins to heal. The land becomes richer, more vibrant, and full of life once again. The fire may have consumed everything in its path, but it has also paved the way for new beginnings. This is a powerful reminder that no matter how difficult our trials may be, they are never the end. They are the beginning of something new. Just as nature comes back stronger after a wildfire, so can we. The fire has cleared the way for new life, new growth, and new opportunities. The challenges we face are not meant to break us. They are meant to refine us, to help us grow, and to prepare us for the new season that is waiting for us. As we look at the wildfires burning across California, let us remember that the fire does not define us. It may seem overwhelming at times, but it is part of a greater process of renewal, growth, and transformation. Trust that you are being prepared for something greater. The fire may burn, but it will not destroy you. It will only refine you, making you stronger, more resilient, and more capable of embracing the new life that is waiting for you. Keep moving forward, knowing that after the fire, there is always renewal, always hope, and always a brighter future ahead. The aerial view of wildfires blazing across California serves as a powerful reminder of the cycles of destruction and renewal that are a natural part of life. While wildfires may seem overwhelming, they are not the end. They clear away what is old and no longer needed, creating space for new growth, new opportunities, and fresh beginnings, much like these fires. The challenges we face in our own lives can feel like they are consuming everything, leaving us uncertain and afraid. Yet it's in those very struggles that we are refined, strengthened, and prepared for a greater future. As we watch nature recover after the fire, we are reminded of our own capacity for resilience. The fire does not define us. It is merely a season that we must pass through. With perseverance, support, and faith, we can rise from the ashes of our difficulties, just as the earth recovers and flourishes in the wake of a wildfire. The key is to trust the process, knowing that even in the darkest times, there is always the potential for new growth. Just as the flames burn for a season and then subside, so too will our trials eventually pass, giving way to new life, new possibilities, and a stronger, more vibrant version of ourselves. As Robert Kiyosaki says, it is the chaos that brings life into the world. The wildfires teach us that while life can be harsh and unpredictable, it is also full of hope, growth, and regeneration. The fire doesn't last forever, and neither do our struggles. Through the fires of life, we are being shaped for a future that is filled with promise and purpose. Keep faith in the journey and know that beyond every challenge lies a new season of opportunity, restoration, and strength.